Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are watching this stream from. This again is another market review session with us here at EasyFX Academy. And last week was quite a adventurous week for me. All right, crazy trades on gold, EUG, and the likes. So let's just have a short review today and let's just see what exactly we expect from some of these pairs again for this coming week. Now, I want to remind you that this coming week, this Friday, all right, should be the release of the non-farm payrolls, NFP news release. So let's see how exactly the market does play during the course of the week towards, that event. All right, but let's start from gold, XAUSD. Let's go to the daily time frame first and sort of have an oversight of what exactly we expect to see. All right, so right now we've seen that already we've had a very strong rejection from this daily pivot around here. All right, there's around maybe 3892 or so. The values might vary depending on your broker. We've had a very, very strong rejection of fair enough, rejection from there. And it does look like gold might continue bullish currently. All right, but let's go to the 4-hour time frame and look and judge. All right, judge what exactly we're seeing. So straight away from 4-hour time frame, currently we're in the sort of range. Right, so I'm most likely going to drop again to the lower time frame, and let's just see what exactly we can make of this. Now, I think I've talked about this on this stream before, but one of the very best things you can do on gold right now, or right currently, is for you to work with simple supply and demand, or support and resistance rather. That's something that works quite well. So that might be something you might want to look at or look into. Like all this in, let's just see. So we have trend line support sitting around there. So for gold right now, I think I can easily pick up a simple break and retest trade if possible for the buys. A simple break and retest trade, because already we've seen multiple reactions inside there. So initially we saw resistance, resistance. Price is showing us there's a lot of struggles going on there. If we extend this, we see that there was a sort of support around this previous end. So let's see how this plays out for the break and retest trade for the buys. All right, so I want to see something like this. Then we get the retest of that region, and then we get to continue for the buys. All right, so buy region, or buy zone rather, between 4046.72 and 4014.74. All right, so that's it for gold. I'm not going to take too much time on this call, I promise. Next up, let's do AD card. I think something similar to what I just explained on gold already. All right, rather we've seen a break and retest already happen here. All right, and it does look like we're still seeing this guy to continue its bullish momentum. So let's start again on a daily time frame. Let's see. Let's mark this high first daily. All right, so we have that. Let me just make it as accurate as possible. We have that high sitting there. Do we have anything that is looking interesting enough? Not yet. All right, so I guess what we would do interesting. So let's see what happens. I think what we are going to get to see on AD card this week might be, if at all we see price to push up a little bit, probably. All right, but I do expect us to see maybe some level of bearishness right now, and that bearishness will just be a form of retracement, hopefully, all right, for price to recover, maybe just a break above this high, because already, let me explain that. So already we have strong rejection from here, which you can see by this candle here, very, very strong rejection from that point there. All right, I think there is this, rally base, so sort of a rally base drop sitting around there. So we've seen strong resistance from there already. That's already pushed price towards the downside. If at all anything right now, if we're taking this point here or somewhere around here, let me even use this one as like a minor break of structure, right? We might get to see price just sweeping this high and then dropping a lot further towards the downside, at least this week. All right, and I think that is what I will be watching out for in this week. All right, so that's just going to be it. So I might not necessarily give a zone for this, all right, but just watch out for possible sells anywhere around 0.92153. All right, for possible sells from there. Let me drop to, let's say, toward 1 hour time frame. I want to see, all right, because already, like I said earlier, we had strong rejections from here. Sorry, we had strong rejections from here. I want to see if there's a possibility for even price to continue its sell or start its sell from where we are right now. So that is, we won't miss out on the trade basically. Not really. For what I can see right now, not really. Let me see the daily time frame. Yeah. So that basically is what I'm going to be expecting right now on the daily time frame. A sweep of this high, then price should give us sells from there. So after that, maybe we see a candle close below that, maybe a strong rejection candle from there again. After this has been taken out, then I guess we should be able to watch out for the sells from there. All right, so that's it for AD card. I won't take too much time again. Let's do ADCHF, though I would expect ADCHF and AD card to have some level of correlation with each other. So again, daily time frame. So straight away we can see this that looks like it's going to be broken. Right, so we have this region here. It does look like that will be broken soon. Let's see. So I can just squeeze that into this. All right, so this is basically a very interesting zone. I want to watch out for the possible reactions from right now. Now I'm still, slightly sitting on the edge of this for the sales. All right, but I want to see what price does. We've not gotten any clear confirmations for the sales from where we are right now, or we've not seen any clear confirmations for the sales from where we are right now. If at all I had seen maybe, good, slowdown in the momentum, I'd already seen a strong rejection, right, from this zone, and definitely I'll be watching out for the sales. Already between price touched that region once, right, and it does seem like we had a rejection towards the downside, and then price is still pushing. So it's very likely, or that we might get to see, price, break above that region. So let's do it like this. Maybe something similar to what we just said on AD card. Exactly watch for a break above this region again, and then let's hope for the sales from there. Let's watch out for possible sales after that. So what I'm just giving you right now on AD card and ADCHF is just my understanding from what I can see on the chart, and I would expect that for you to take those trades, at the very least you can drop to the lower time frames, maybe the 15 minutes, maybe the 5, maybe even the 1 hour time frame, depending on whatever time frame is more convenient for your entries, and then pick proper entries on those lower time frames. All right, so that's just going to be it for EDCHF. Currently this region that we're in is around 0.53039 and 0.52737 for the possible sales after price maybe gives us a sweep of that high there. That's around 0.53039. So that's just going to be it for EDCHF. Let's do ADNZD next, and then we'll treat AUD sorry, we'll treat AUD/USD also. So again, break and retest of this region. Price still seems to be bullish. Daily time frame, that's what we're seeing, or what we should be expecting rather. So more interesting here, we've seen a break of this high. Now definitely you'll learn that after every impulse you should have some level of retracement towards the downside. So I guess that sort of correlates to what we saw on other commodities or other AED pairs rather. So let's have this here. Let us see. What shall we say? Remind me. So let's use sorry, yeah. So I'm going to mark out 0.1, and I'm going to mark this second point out for a bit. So just give me a minute. Let me just. So if we're still working with the sell bias, right? If we're working the sell bias, I think we can watch for possible break and retest of this region. So what I'm trying to say is I would possibly still want to see price just slightly push up a little bit, but my main entry on this guy this week, at least from a conservative standpoint, would be for also have a break and retest of that region. So the sell, or the supply region I'll be expecting for the sells after we get to see a break below it will be between 1.14413 and 1.14207. Right, so that's it for AN rather. Let's do AU and then we'll push ahead with other guys. So ADUSD, simple void that is still sitting here, and price basically hasn't even come to recover it. But let's still see daily time frame. All right, so I think this still sort of aligns with aligns with our bias. All right, on some of these other guys. Let's see. I just want to make this as accurate as possible. Right, so we have this void that price basically hasn't come to fill at all. Okay. All right, just give me a minute, please. I would use this. Right, so if I'm taking this as 1, taking this as 1. All right, then I would work with this. So let's use this is a bit low that I'll be working with right now up to this point. That is still quite far out. That really is still quite far out. So I'll be giving us 2 regions to watch out for, though they are very, very close to each other. All right, but I do expect that we should see good buys from either one of them. But definitely, I still want to see price to drop a lot more during the course of the week. Basically, I still want to see price drop a lot more during the course of the week. This region here already still seems to be holding quite well. So resistance, support, resistance, and then we're still seeing price dropping from there. So possible buys on this guy for the scalps, all right. So short-term trades will be here, and then maybe here again. All right, so I'm coming to just, so possible buy POI1 between 0.65262 and 0.65157, possible buy POI2 between 0.65090 and 0.64899. For the meantime, I do expect that this guy should keep dropping for a little bit. So let's see what happens between today, possible early hours of tomorrow, maybe even into Wednesday, before making any, jumping into any trades as it was. All right, but for the meantime, for this week, let's see. Let's expect something towards maybe this end. Is what I'll be a lot more, comfortable with, because I do expect that this might be completely filled and then price will drop, into this point. So that looks like something, possible, right? That looks like something plausible. Both of them are fair enough zones. Like I said, for the scalps, you can work with this, and get a short stem trade. Maybe this too. I don't know if I gave the coordinates. Okay, yeah, I did. So basically, that's it for AUD/USD sell to buy is what I'm expecting. Euro AUD would be next. So again, daily time frame, right? So daily time frame, all right, so rejection from here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see, not unfortunately anyway, but we've not gotten to see, this high being taken out. Instead, we've seen massive rejection from here, pushing price a lot further. This currently is where we are having right. So this currently is where we are having, this low, the previous lower that's sitting, right? Meaning that I want to see possible reason for us to break below the sweeping equity from that point, and then maybe we get buys from there. I do already on daily time frame. I think I already found a convenience region for me to expect the buys from. I'm going to possibly be working with it right now. So for possible buys already, I've had this zone marked out for a couple of weeks now. I just want to see the possible buys we get from the lower time frame at least, right from there. So buy region is between 1.75510 and 1.74536. You can see it's quite a huge region. So let me come to the 2-hour time frame. Let's see if we will be able to minimize or sort of refine that entry point. Nothing that I am too I'm too keen on, at least from the swing perspective right now. But yeah, let's work with this for the meantime. Let's work with this for the meantime for the possible buys off of Euro AUD. All right, so we should still see maybe a little bit of the sales happening. Ooh, okay. Let's come to the 4-hour time frame quickly. I do think we might get some entries for. I do think we might get some entries, on this guy for, for the sales rather, or before at least price gets here. Right, because already from this previous resistance here, we're still having to see some level of indecisiveness from the markets around here. So we had I won't call this necessarily a good enough rejection candle, but it gets to show that when price got there, there was sort of like a canceling out between the buyers and the sellers. All right, sort of. All right, so let's see what exactly we might be able to expect. Straight away I can mark out point 1 here. I'm come to the 2-hour time frame. And come to the 2-hour time frame. Let me mark this point out also. Right, so already we've seen good enough rejections from there, and I think we are going to just keep working with that. All right, I'm trying to see the possibility of if it's possible at all for price to come there, for us to get in for the sales. Basically, I'm looking out for a good enough sell entry. I think maybe we'll just work with that for the meantime. Maybe we'll just work with that for the meantime. Already we've seen 3 touches of that region, right? Which gets to that's a strong region, but even though as at that and all of that. So again, this is the rejection candle we're looking out for right now. Basically, we've seen that rejection and we've seen price pushing up a little bit towards the upside. So for the possible sales, between 1.76998 and 1.76820, that'll be the first point for the possible sales. So something like this. And then we get the price drop into that point, like I said earlier, for the price. Then the second region, my second POI, which I do think is a lot further away. All right, it might not be something that we get to see this week, if at all we're going to see that move play out. Will be somewhere around here between 1.78166 and 1.77705. All right, so whatever is going to inspire me to sell will be when I get to see price come into those regions, and then we get to see substantial information from the candles being printed there, telling us that price is now ready to sell. Whatever one happens first, either the sales or the buys, at least you are very much well aware of what to do. All right, so Euro card will be next. I do feel like we've been on this call for a bit, so I'm going to rush up right now and find a way for us to end this in about 10 minutes time. All right, so this video will not be so long. All right, so Euro card, let's see. If at all anything, I expect Euro card and Euro AD to have some level of correlation with themselves. Did price get there? No, it didn't. It's this is basically what I'm looking at right now. Price basically hasn't gotten there for our time frame. So again, we've not still seen any strong break above somewhere. Let's say somewhere like here. Usually when I get to see very, very obvious order blocks sitting around these regions, I get to be very, very cautious, because why exactly are they that obvious? And usually when you get to see obvious order blocks, there's every possibility for price to decide to just give us a sweep above that point, and then we get our drop. All right, so let's just watch out for the possibility of I really would want to say for us to watch out for the sells from here, but this is what I'll just watch out for right now. Yeah, I'll just watch out for this right now. I'll watch out for that right now. Watch out for, let me see the 1 hour time frame, please. I want to see if there is any region that is just a little bit above there for us to work with. None that I am particularly interested in right now. Right, so that is what I will just be using for the meantime. So sell region that I have marked out here is between 1.62173 and 1.61967. All right, 1.62173 and 1.61967. But there's every possibility for price to give us a sweep above that range, or before we get the sells. So that's why, as I had to put the path to be just a little bit above it, so that you can be cognizant of that possibility. So yeah, that basically is what I'm expecting on eCard during the course of this week. All right, so next up, let's do Euro GBP. Now, this is not one commodity that I trade as much or I work with as much, but all the same, I do think there's a possibility for us to pick up 1 or 2 on it this week. Let's look at the daily time frame. Price does seem to have given us rejections from somewhere around here. So let's see, let us see. There's this one that seems to be sitting around here that we might be able to work with, but I want to check here. I want to check on lower time frames, because the overall range I'm seeing right now is quite large. I'm not necessarily going to be comfortable giving us that range as something for us to work with. This again is rally-based rally sitting around there. Okay. Yeah, so let's work with these 2 points. So this is POI2, POI1. All right, so POI1 between 0.87569 and 0.87466, and POI2 will be for between 0.87357 and 0.87208. So those will be the 2 POIs for the buys on Euro GBP. All right, next up, let's just do Euro USD. I might still go back to Euro NZD, but let's do Euro USD first, right? So Euro USD, zip, delete you, zip also delete you. We are not needed any longer. Right, so daily time frame again. Daily time frame again. Give me a minute, please. It's in. Okay, taken out already. Interesting enough, I think I had a session during the course of the weekend, and I was talking about this point with some guys. I want to see what price does when we get there, if at all we do get to see price drop that far. All right, but definitely I do expect us to get some level of whoosh. Interesting enough. Okay, so right now there is basically this fair value gap that price might be looking to recover completely. Yes, completely. It does look like price will try its best to recover. So let's see what price does during the course of the week. I do think we are currently bearish, all right, on this guy, and if at all anything, we might get to see some level of retracement. Yes, all right, but if at all we get to see any retracement, just watch out for any of these regions for possible sell re-entries. This is one here. So basically I'm just giving us sell re-entries, possible sell re-entries that we can work with this week. Let me make it as accurate as possible, please. So that's 1, and this should be 2. So again, note that these are all swing movements that we're expecting, right? So POI1 for the possible sells between 1.15401 and 1.15249, and POI2 for the possible sells between 1.15733 and 1.15567 for the possible sells on Euro USD. So all that is clear. So let's do GBP AED next. Let's just say after this we'll do maybe like 5 more or 6. Depends. Right. So GBP AED, right? GBP AED. Let's start from daily time frame again. Again, we're seeing this struggle around here. You can see that the last 4 or 5 candles that have been created around there have literally struggled to break, below that region. I'm sure there's a valid reason for that on the chart, but I'm not going to be looking into that necessarily right now. I just want to know what exactly the daily time frame is telling us. And if I see this amount of struggle there, then there's every possibility for price to try its best to recover some strength, towards the upside. And we have a fairly obvious region around there. I don't know if price would at all come back there. I think I'm going to work with that for the meantime on GPAD for possible sells. Right. So what I'm expecting this week then is this buy to sell. Excuse me, sorry, buy to sell on this guy. So sell POI between 2.03275 and 2.02425. Right, so that's just it for GA. Let's do G card next. I expect we should see something similar. For our time frame, definitely. So again, sorry, day time frame again, we're seeing that this level of struggle here, right? So for our time frame, and again, we have a lot of fair value gaps left behind there for price to decide to come back to price, that it should at least decide to come back to those points. This is where I'm currently watching, but it's too wide. So I'll see the possibility of us working with just the 50% of that region. Right, so we'll just work with the 50% of that region for the sales. So if at all I'm mentioning, I'll want to watch out for the sales from somewhere around 1.86051, between that and 1.86542. So 1.86542 and 1.86051 or so. All right, that will be my PY majorly on GBP card. All right, so let's do GJ next. Let's do GJ next. This video is already 22 minutes long. That's already a lot, so I'll do my best to end this soon. So GBP JP rather. So again, we've seen that for the past couple of weeks here, price literally hasn't been able to fill this void. All right, this void, from the weekend. This was about maybe 2 weeks ago or so. All right, so beginning of October, basically, price basically hasn't come, towards that point. And I do feel like this week we might get to see that happen. Maybe, maybe not. Let's see that daily time frame. Very good. I think we should get to see that happen. It's looking plausible. Give me a minute. So this resistance basically is our current watch. That basically is where we're watching out for right now. So I don't think I'm going to be able to give, or I'm going to give any, concrete zone right now. I think basically I'm just going to be bearish on this guy, and maybe if at all I'm going to watch out for good re-entries on this guy. Maybe you can work with the break and retest of this point here. If at all we're going to have a break and retest for the sales, I think that's something you can watch out for this between 202.156 and 201.850. Possible break and retest off of this guy, and then you should get some good sales from there if at all. I think that looks quite feasible, right? And I would love to explore possibility right now. So yeah, that basically is what I'm watching out for right now on GJ. All right, next up we'll do GU. Already coming to an end, right? GU daily time frame. Let's see daily time frame GU. Interestingly enough, so we've seen, I think this is not necessarily what we just saw on, it's not similar to what we saw on EU. GU, we've seen a break of a very, 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 very strong support. Pretty strong support, 0.1, 0.2, all right, and then price basically has given us that break below there. So let's see the possibility of us maybe having a continuation, or maybe even seeing, since it's a break, right, maybe seeing a short retracement before price continues. Maybe we can get proper re-entries for the sales. So I will just fly here, pick here, pick here. That seems to be the most, the closest one at the very least that we might be able to work with. Right, so let's use this. Let me just use this whole region instead, just to be safe. So possible sell re-entries on this guy, if at all we do have sell re-entries right now. I think we'll work with this. All right, but again, like I said, this is already NFP week, so at the very least, I would advise you to be very, very cautious every single move that you're going to be seeing towards, from this week till Friday at least, would be in a way sort of gearing towards, NFP movements. So let's just see how that goes, and hopefully let's hope we have a very, very volatile, a more volatile NFP than what we've been having in the past couple of months. All right, so let's see. All right, so sell region on GU between 1.32466 and 1.31935. All right, so that's it for GU. Let's do give me the NZD card or NZD JPY. I know there was something interesting I was seeing in one of these NZD guys. Was it NU? I really let's do NZD card. Let's just do NZD card. So I'll just take NZD card, then maybe U card and UJ, and then we'll call it, a session. Right. So NZD card. Let's see the possibility of us having price still drop. So we've not seen a break below here yet, which is still what I'm looking out for. We've not seen that break. And let's see. Oh wait, sorry, delete time frame again. Okay. So I think since we're seeing this guy, dropping towards the downside, let's just work with possible sell entries on this guy also. I think for the meantime, since this basically is where I can see the last sort of break to happen from, since this is where I can see the last possible break to happen from, just give me a minute, please. Let me just cross check. I'm not seeing anything so clear right now on this guy. Oh, okay. I mean, that works, but it's still quite far. It works, but it's quite far. I'm not necessarily so keen on it because this loop basically hasn't been taken out. So for now, this is going to be a very risky trade, but if at all you have the risk appetite to accommodate this, I want to look out for possible sells from here. I would have preferred for us to see that sell happen. Okay, I guess this is still something valid. I would have preferred for us to see this low being taken out first, but all the same, possible sales will be around here between 0.80507 and 0.80399 for the possible sales. So I'm expecting whatever happens, something like this. Right, so that basically is what I'm seeing on NZD card right now. So let's do U card. We'll do U card, then we'll do UJ, and then we'll call it a session. Right, so USD card. So daily time frame again. Daily time frame USD card. Let's quickly mark this high. Hasn't been taken out yet, but definitely with the amount of impulse we're having right now, it does seem like that I would be swept. And let's work with that. I guess so. This was an order block rather that seems like would be broken or will be taken out very soon. Now that I'm seeing it, I am slightly standing on the possibility of us having a sweep and then a possible drop again. Not necessarily something too far, but I think this is what I'm going to watch out for right now on USD card. So maybe like I think I've talked about something like this before. I won't call an exact zone, previous resistance. I just want to say sweep above that high, and then possible sales will shoot happen from there. All right, so that's it for USD card. And possible resistance that I'm seeing right now is around 1.40797. So that's just it for USD card. For the meantime, last but not least for our stream today would be USD JPY, and I think as you can see here, we are having strong. I won't call this strong necessarily, but we're having this level of I won't call this a range anyway. We're just in a very, very strong slowdown in the overall momentum, and even though we're going to see pricing give us that break above this high already. So for our time frame, let's see what the possibilities that we might be able to work with during the course of the week. Easily, we have this guy here, or better still, a lot better still. I think we can use this. It's not necessarily the cleanest. That's just the thing. It's not as clean, but I'm just working based on the fact that we've seen a break of this high. We've seen a break of this high. Price should at least come towards the lower ends here, but also have a good enough re-entry for the buys. So if I use my fib on this, assuming this is going to be our new swing high, that level still sort of rhymes with what we're seeing for our key Fibonacci level. So let me extend it towards the lower end, and yeah. So this one I'm going to be watching out for the possible drop, then the buys from there. So between 152.533 and 151.901. All right, that'll be the possible region for the buys. I am seeing possible sell re-entries right now, but I'm going to be very, very cautious. I'm just going to talk about it, and then, if at all you have the risk appetite for it, you can take the possible sell re-entries. This is going to be the sell re-entry for possible break and retest sell. All right, off of this guy. If you get to see this region being taken out, then you might be able to work with a break and retest at least to this point. All right, so sell re-entry will be around anywhere around 153.908 and 153.641. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, men and ladies, with these viewers of mine, we have come to an end of today's session. As usual, I would advise you to please practice proper risk management. All right, trading can be a very, very volatile thing, and I would not want you to lose any of your money, especially seeing that this weekend, Friday, is going to be NFP. All right, keep your money till then. All right, and have a lovely week. Have a very, very profitable week. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye bye, guys.